So
I was
hello,
born
Peter,
ready.
once again. How is it going for you at the moment?
Oh, it's pretty busy, I guess, with the release and all the promotion and stuff. So it's going good, I guess. Better than I thought, put it that way.
So your favorite part of the thing, talking to press.
It's interesting to see. I mean, you create something and then it's interesting to see how people think about things. Let me clean this up a little bit. It's better.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah. Good.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
obviously we have lived in quite different time, like
Yeah.
for the past year and a half now or something. So how has
Yeah.
it been actually to you?
For me, it was a chance to recharge my batteries. After we're done with Lindemann, 2020 in March, because we couldn't do the 3 last shows, so because of the COVID thing. So I just went home and just laid on the couch for a half year and just, kind of recharge myself. And then after that, I started mixing the Hypocrisy album slowly. So for me, it's just been to clean up all the things I had piling up, so to speak, the last year. So I have another project that's going to be out next year, also a full length album that I'm part of as a musician, and no, not as a musician. Yeah, well, musician and also producer and songwriter to this guy. So this is going to be interesting for next year as well. So
Okay, so quite a lot already on your plate.
yeah. But I'm not going to be. We're not doing this project as we did with Lindemann, 2 guys. It's going to be this guy, and I'm just producer and songwriter. So otherwise, I'm gonna lose my mind. I can't do too much shit anymore because it's too much. That's why you had to wait 8 years also, for the latest Hypocrisy album, because it's been so busy with all, with Pain and Lindemann and Hypocrisy touring constantly. So it's really hard to get some peace of mind.
So
yeah,
obviously we are doing this interview because you will be dropping the Hypocrisy album Worship on November through Nuclear Blast. So first off, I think it was summer 2018 when you said that you sort of hoped to finalize the album during that time. So what actually happened after that?
Pretty much 2018 and 19, we wrote the album and recorded it. So sometimes when you write an album, you feel like a few songs maybe doesn't really stand out to the standard of the quality of the other songs. So you have to retune and refine and redo a lot of stuff. So it takes, it takes a while. Plus, if you sitting and writing a song and all of a sudden, oh shit, I got to go on tour now. So I have to put it aside. And then you come back and then you listen to it and then you redo it. So it was a lot of these kind of things, you jumping back and forth between studio writing and going out on tour. And also I was writing for Lindemann at the same time, and it was a lot of balls up in the air.
So does it require certain kind of mood for you to be creative with Hypocrisy?
Yeah, I mean, it does with all kinds of stuff. When I create, I need to be in a good mood. I cannot be in a pissy mood. Some artists really writes the best when they're down or shit, life is shit and so on. But I'm kind of the opposite. I need to have everything cool around me when I write music.
So has it been easy to be creative in these times?
No, not really. I'll just look around and see how the world, kind of crumbles, and it gives me a lot of ideas for lyrics, for sure. It's for me, it's simple. I see what's going on and I interpret that in my lyrics, and I just sharing it with you guys. Just keep your eyes open, and think twice, and don't always believe what you read.
So obviously during these times, I guess quite a lot of us have had a lot of time to watch Netflix and all sorts of like movies and documentaries. I guess it's the same for you. So has that sort of been an inspiration?
No, not really. I mean, I'm always curious about things. If someone says something, I want to see the other side of it. So, you try to do some research and stuff like that. Go out on the internet, Google about things and so on. And that gives me different answers for the same thing. And in the end, I interpret it in my way of how I see things.
So speaking about like the lyrical ideas behind the upcoming album, where have you actually drawn influences to them? Is it just like from your daily life and what you explore, or?
Yeah, like just what I told you just right before, this is where I get my inspirations. Just watching a lot of news, watching a lot of podcasts, a lot of research about different things and so on. So for me, it's kind of a hobby,
So that's something that you do constantly all the time, every day.
Yeah, I've done it since, I don't know, since YouTube came out and all kinds of shit. So it's for me, it's interesting.
So is there like some theme around the upcoming album, or is it more like separate songs?
I mean, a lot of songs has the same theme, but different stories. But also there's other stories than just certain stories. So I mean, it's hard to say. There's a lot of different themes in there. Some songs has the same theme and different stories, like I said.
So obviously with the band, you have already set the bar quite high. So does it become like harder and harder each time to sort of top yourself when you're making the album?
Yeah, every time you're done with an album, it doesn't really matter which band it is that I'm finishing an album off. You think like, oh, I'm never going to be able to write again, or so you feel kind of empty. But as time passed by, you get new influences and new ideas in your head. And so for me, it's I'm just a jukebox, put it that way. You hear new bands, old bands, things comes in your brain and your mind and your thoughts, and somehow you spit out your version of all the shit you heard in your whole entire life, kind of.
So with Pain, you seem like overall more active than you are with Hypocrisy. So does it require like more refueling with this band to sort of get into that creative mood again?
Not really. I mean, it's very simple and easy with Pain. It's only me. I do whatever I want, when I want, and how I want. With Hypocrisy, we're 3 guys. So that's another thing to take in consideration. I can't just go on my ego trip with that, even though I pretty much wrote everything, but not all of it. I mean, Michael came up with a few riffs and Hort came up with a few riffs, but other than that, it's me. But I want it to be a team, so to say. So that makes it not so flexible as Pain.
But still on the creative process, it's more like you creating the material for this band as well.
Yeah.
So what's actually like the other guy's role? Is it just like honing the stuff to sort of finalize and give sort of like ideas back to you that whether this works or not, or what's actually like their role?
I don't know. I mean, in the 90s and 2000, Michael was really writing a lot of good shit. Me and him, and also Lars, our old drummer. That made Hypocrisy unique in the style, I think. I can tell what Lars wrote when I listen to old songs. I can hear what Michael wrote, because all 3 of us, we had kind of different styles of writing melodies and things like that. But when you put it together, then it becomes Hypocrisy. So I kind of miss that stuff, but you can't blame people if they can't come up with new ideas. It has to take the time it it has for some people to write music. So then I just have to push the wagon myself and try to get it done. Otherwise, we can wait for 18 years.
So you actually would wish the band to be like more of a team effort than it is at the moment?
Of course, of course. I'm really happy that Chemical Whore, both Michael and Horg contribute to that song with a couple of riffs, you know, and that makes a huge difference, I think.
That's actually a quite stand out track from the album.
Yeah, it is, definitely. I really like it. And I don't know if that's the reason why we started with it, because if it's easier to accept, sometimes when we did things, we did the weirdest song as a first timer or something like that in the past, then people were like, oh, is that the new style now? And it's like now when you hear the Dead World, people going, what? It sounds like Catch-22 times and things like that. No, not really. It's just cool groove in the shit, and I like the story of the lyrics in it, and it's just different side. This Dead World, actually my son was writing when me and him was trying to do like a father and son project, and it just got left over in the end. And I told Sebastian, like, I really love this song, let me release it on Hypocrisy, and that's what we did. So you get some new fresh blood in there.
So when you are like making the album, do you already have sort of like an aim in your head where you're aiming with it, or is it just like the first song you sort of complete that sort of makes the direction?
I think Hypocrisy found its style, you know, by doing albums during the 90s, and it formed the band, and that's really how it should sound, I believe. For me, my goal was just to write really good songs that sounds like Hypocrisy and with a fat production. That was my only goal.
So do you take that like a lot into consideration when you're making the new songs, that they also need to carry live, now that you have like a big experience behind playing live shows?
Yeah, I mean, right now we have no clue which songs we should play live, because we don't know what people like yet. It's too early to see what we're going to put in from the new album in the live repertoire. But usually you have to check for comments on our pages and things like that to see what people like more, what songs are sticking out after they heard the whole album. So I think from there on we'll choose the track list live.
So what does the future?
Because I mean, I can play any song, but I didn't pay to go and see it. So I think people who pays to go and see it, they need to get the songs that they like, you know, simple as that.
Speaking about the set list, do you prefer like watching classic bands playing through like their best of sets compared to like basically digging up and playing those like different songs than normally?
I think it's cool when the bands who have a career over 30 years or something like that, when they go back to the old albums, of course, doing the classic stuff, and sure, and also put in some new stuff, because with Hypocrisy we never peaked, we never, you know, like broke through and became whatever, you know. It's more or less our thing has been going steady up a little bit.
Yeah.
And therefore, you know, when band peaks and become popular, it's only one way to go from there. It's down. So for us, still people like the newer songs as well. They become classic as well. For instance, like End of Disclosure is a huge song live. People really love it, and that's from the last album. So I think with Hypocrisy, we just try to see what people want to hear, and we mix that into the live repertoire.
So before we wrap things up, I want to ask you a bit about the future. So what's in the scope overall for you? Do you have like the next Pain album now in the plate, or?
I mean, I'm doing for a month. I'm doing promotion now for Hypocrisy. That's enough. I don't even want to think about music or anything. It's pretty hectic schedule every day, doing interviews and talking about the new album and stuff. So I will wait a little bit till it settles down, and then I'm going to start to write some pain tunes, because next year is going to be all about Hypocrisy, of course, except a few gigs that we had planned for 2020 that didn't happen, and put it out to 2021 and so on and so on. With Pain, we're coming back in February to do 4 shows in Finland, for example. And we'll also do a Russian tour and Belarus and Ukraine. But then it's going to be all about Hypocrisy. So in April, we'll go to America on a headline tour. Summer, we do a lot of festivals. We got a few actually in Finland. They didn't go out with it yet, but it will come for Hypocrisy. And then we need to get a European tour for after the summer. So that is the plan right now. And in between all these things, I'm going to sit and write some Pain songs. So
calendar will be pretty booked.
I hope so. I mean, the problem is with festivals is that the ones that's going to come out next year has been booked since 2020.
Yeah.
So it's pretty packed, and it's really hard to get in there, because 2019 was the Hypocrisy festival year, and we didn't want to book anything for 2020. So now we're fucked for 2022 because it's all occupied. But there's bands who cancels, and there's sometimes there's more room than you think. So I really hope. But at least we have 2 festivals with Hypocrisy in Finland and 1 with Pain that will be announced later on.
And it's also like quite mixed in a way that if there's a billing for a festival announced like 2020 and it's still going on with the same billing, it sort of gets bored.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
You would hope that there would be like some surprise names also on the bill.
yeah, but you know, that's the way it is. You know, it just gets moved and moved and moved and moved.
Yeah,
that's how it is.
That's how the business rolls.
We'll definitely do our best. Yeah, we'll do our best to get out there and start playing some new shit and old shit for people.
So hey, Peter, it was nice to catch up with you once again. And
you too.
Best of luck with the release of the upcoming album. Anything you want to say as last thing for the Finnish fans?
Yeah, I don't know. Just be careful and always think twice about what you read and what you see. It's not always what it is. And hope to enjoy the new album. And I'll see some people in February with Pain, and I will see some people in the summer with Hypocrisy.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks.